We're going to talk about self-education and we're going to talk about traditional education. Now, if you want to earn a living and you're okay with just a living, traditional education will do. It will suffice. You do not need anything extra. However, if you're an overachiever, if you want to earn more, if you want to go the next step, the next mile, if you want to become a millionaire, if you want to leave a legacy to your future family, if you want to have cool stuff like Lamborghinis and travel around the world and all of that jazz, you're going to need more than a traditional education. A very few percent of the actual world actually can live a solid life like that just off of a traditional education. We've all heard lawyers, doctors, architects, engineers, CEOs, and stuff like that. However, I want you to understand, to be the top 1% of them, it's very, very difficult. And even the top 1% of those earners are not going to generate the income like a lot of you guys see online or on Instagram, so on and so forth. Again, nothing wrong with that, because we need doctors, we need lawyers, right? We need these people. However, you need to understand where you are, where you want to be, and what you need to do in order to get there. I wish I would have had somebody like me explain this to me way earlier, because I would have took this way serious. Is understand the importance of personal education and specific personalized information that is not the traditional education that we get from the traditional education system. Not going to school, not going to college. The more non-traditional, non-conventional ways of learning, like mentorship, like books, like studying, like YouTube, like podcasts, all of this stuff. I watched a ton of stuff on YouTube and read a ton of books and listened to a ton of podcasts when I was getting started in real estate. I didn't have a mentor, no one in my family did it. And that non-traditional education gave me the competence. And once I had the competence, I then had the confidence in order to go do my first deal, right? I flipped tons of homes. We currently have a portfolio of over 49 apartments. I'm looking to buy 100 to 500 more this year. And I was able to scale from that non-traditional information. I got into e-commerce. A lot of you guys know my story. If not, it's on the channel. It's pretty public. I became a millionaire with my first business, which was an e-commerce business. Well, I've had other businesses that failed before that, but my first business that hit home was my Amazon business. It was an e-commerce business, one product, one genre, a product within one industry. It changed my life, changed my family's life. And I learned how to do that from non-traditional information. You can't go to school, you can't go to high school, you can't go to college and learn about e-commerce. I don't understand why, because it's supply and demand, which is huge in economics, but they're not teaching this stuff. So I literally was introduced to someone who was in the business, and I asked questions. I learned what it is that I needed to do, and I took risks. So if you're watching this channel, you're watching this video series right now, in this playlist, chances are you're under 21, you're under 25. So number one, take risk. Number two, be hungry and be looking for these opportunities. And number three, when you find an opportunity, take action on it and do not give up. If you don't have a mentor, if you don't have that millionaire next door type of person that you can talk to, start dissecting as much information as you can from these podcasts, from YouTube channels like this one. I'm not gonna lie, I suck at reading. I hate reading. I've always hated reading. However, I forced myself to do it because literally, success leaves clues. And these authors who are successful, these business owners who are successful, they're literally giving you the cheat code to becoming successful. I want you to understand there's only two ways that you can learn anything in life. It doesn't matter if you being an entrepreneur, learning about stocks, real estate, e-commerce, whatever it is, there's only two ways. You can learn through trial, effort, and error on your behalf, or you can learn from the trial, effort, and error on someone else's behalf. Now, oftentimes, in order to learn from someone else, there's an exchange, right? You have to purchase a book. You have to go download a podcast. You have to invest in a course. You have to invest time, effort, and energy to go talk to your neighbor. Whatever that looks like for you and your situation, you have to invest something in order to get those results. Now, when you're doing it yourself, you have to figure it out. And the way that you learn through figuring it out or doing it on your own is through doing it and through messing up and through trial and error. It is quicker to get results. It is quicker to become successful learning from the mistakes of others than making the mistakes yourself. I remember I was stubborn. No one in my family taught me about courses or mentorship or programs. You need to get good at asking questions. You may think that you're a good question asker. However, spending literally over $1 million in education, courses, consulting, going to events over the last 7 years, I've learned that when you get a chance to talk to someone like Marcus Lemonis, when you get a chance to ask Daymond John a question, they don't have an hour, they don't have 30 minutes, they don't have 5 minutes. Oftentimes you may have 1 to 2 minutes, so you have to come up with that question. It has to be the right question. So why are we asking questions? We're asking questions because we lack the knowledge in order to get to the next step. So if you look at a video game, here's level 1. You're at level 1 and you want to get to level 2. In order to get to level 2, there's going to be something that you have to do. You're going to have to complete some type of task. You're going to have to beat some type of boss. You're going to have to do something to level up here. Now, oftentimes we've been on this battle, we've been fighting this boss, we've been trying to figure out this path or whatever it is, and we couldn't figure it out. The reason why I'm saying this is because you want to be very detailed with where you are and where you want to be. That way you can identify how to accurately ask the question. You're starting a business and you're right here, and you already know what to do to start a business. You already know the name, and you already know the LLC, and you already know the website, and you know all that good stuff. You know, in order to scale to get where you want to be at, you can only do so much. So maybe the next step is you hiring. Maybe you know, okay, I need to hire. However, I don't know how to hire. I don't know where to go to hire. I don't know how much to pay them. Draw out a roadmap of where you are and where you want to be. This is where you are right now, and this is where you want to be. Identify exactly where you are, come up with these very specific questions around that genre as to where you are, dissect that, and then your question are not these and figuring these out. And that's where I made the mistake. And that's where a lot of people make these mistakes. Okay, I'm right here. I'm at step 2. These are the questions I don't know. I need to know these. So what do? We Google them. We try to figure them out. We try to do them on ourselves. The easiest thing to do is ask yourself, who is best fit to answer this question? Now, are there podcasts? Is there a book? Can you pay for a consultation? Do they have a course? Can you pay for an hour of their time? Can you take them out to lunch and they tell you? Is it a neighbor that you haven't talked to, but you know that they do this? Identify that and start to be very creative, very specific, and very strategic with getting these questions answered. Guys, I'm gonna tell you, getting to the next level, becoming a millionaire, Google is only gonna take you so far. YouTube is only gonna take you so far. You're not gonna find these detailed, specific questions for every step of the roadmap. If you're here and you're trying to get to these different levels, there's gonna be questions that you have every single way, at every single point, every single level, and you're gonna need to get these answered specifically. So get good at asking questions. Whenever there's an opportunity to ask a question, understand that the only dumb question is a question that's not asked. When you go to an event, when you show up to a webinar, when you're talking to someone, when you're gonna speak to a neighbor, whatever it is, when you're going to look for podcast episodes to listen to, have this roadmap out. Where are you? Where do you want to be? What are the very specific questions you have? Where can I go get these questions answered? Becoming good at reading and becoming good at asking questions and figuring out where to go to get questions answered are two of the game changers for me. I mean, I'm telling you, I've discovered books where I've learned from these books and I've made exponential amount of returns monetarily on my time, effort, energy, and whatever I paid for the book. If I paid $30 for the book and it took me 3 days to read it, I'm talking about I've made tens of thousands and sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars from reading these books. I paid $30,000 for a 2-hour consultation with a gentleman. That $30,000 from this consultation made me $7 million in 2020. Document it. Energy goes where energy flows. If you know exactly where you are and where you want to be, and you're very specific on that question, who is the best to answer that question? I turned that $30,000 into $7 million because I knew what I needed in my business. I knew what I needed to do, and I knew who was the best of the best. So I reached out and I asked, how much for 2 hours of your time? These are the specific questions I have. This is where I am. This is where I need to go. On that call that I recorded, he broke everything down. He answered it. I plugged and played and exponentially increased one of my businesses. So I hope this helped. And if you enjoyed this channel and you got any value whatsoever, please smash that like button right now. It tells the YouTube algorithm that we're doing something right here. It helps the channel out big time. Also, if you're new to the channel or you've been watching it but you haven't subscribed, hit that red subscribe button right now. Click the notification bell next to it. That way you're notified every single time we drop a new video. And I'll see you in the next one.